Hey, this is a 2v2, and I'm going to call this video number 2 of me playing the Ottomans. If you watched my last movie video, you notice I tried to bring the Ottomans, and it wasn't a great success. And so what happened is I joined this 2v2 match, and I thought, hey, what the hell, let's fuck them up. Let's bring Ottomans again. Like, it was kind of fun, a little different. And so I decided to do it again, and I learned some things. Somebody else, who was it? Oh, it was Rat2498, who has a YouTube channel. It's really good. He posted a video of him as being Ottomans, or another player as being Ottomans. So, excuse me. I think I learned a couple things. And I also learned some things from my last battle as the Ottomans, like camels blow. So don't use camels. What I did is I set up my army into 2 groups, and the 2 groups are pretty much identical. The 2 groups are 1 unit of bazookas, which are a meat shield. Behind them I have 3 units of the line infantry, and behind them I have 2 on this side, but 3 over there I have set at Janissary, and I've bumped them up to 4 chevrons this time. Last time I used 2. Rat in his video, he used 4. And so I thought, hey, that guy's smarter than me. Might as well do it. I brought a basic general this time. I don't know. The higher star general is nice, but I'm sure better chevrons are nice. Somebody could probably do the math on that. In place of the camels, which totally sucked, I have 2 little groups of cav. They both have 2 shooter cav and 1 of the Siphi cav. And my thought was that those would be really good anti-cav forces. I can use these guys to charge, and these guys stand back and shoot bullets. That was kind of my idea. My partner for this battle is a guy named thedonpart2, and he's a really neat player. I've got to play with him and against him a couple times, and I kind of like his style. A little more passive than my taste, but I'm kind of a huge attacker, so I don't think you can count that against them. Our opponents for this battle, and let me interject here. This battle was really long, so I'm probably going to either cut it off early or jump around a lot, so try to stay with me with the time breaks. My opponent was a dude named Snowstorm, who I think is a really competent player. He's Prussian. The rules for this game were no artillery and 4 lights. He's got his 4 lights lined up in the front and all his lines spread out real wide. He kind of has adopted my general strategy of when you're Prussia, focus on infantry and less cav. He has a heavy cav unit there, and then I guess 2 heavy cav and 1 dragoons. Are dragoons good? I don't know what the point of bringing dragoons is. And this guy over here is playing as French. He wears the tag FR, so maybe he actually is French. He was kind of weird, frankly. Anyway, his name is Asterix. So FR Asterix. At the beginning of the battle, we're both advancing. I'm going to hit fast forward here. And what I don't notice is I'm actually I had my hands full, so I didn't have really good field awareness. But the Don, my partner, switches a lot of his cav to my side. Actually, the Don just brought a lot of fucking cav, frankly. He has 4 chasseurs in front. He has a meat shield. He has some line there, mostly Swiss and Polish, I think. He has 4 cav on the side here, all Lancers. And does he have another 5 cav? Yeah, let's look at 2 shooter, 3 shooter, 4 shooter. Jesus, that's 5 shooter cav coming around to the middle there. And I didn't really have a good plan. I was like, I need to get sort of into gunshot range and get my Janissaries engaged. What I did like is that he didn't have any cav over here, so my thought was I wanted to swing cav over and onto his side, onto the left. I'm going to call that the left from my frame of reference. And I actually swung my second cav, and I kind of made a commitment at this point. You notice I had 2 equal groups. Well, I swung the Janissaries and the cav from my right group over to my left. And so I decided early to make a commitment to my left side. And frankly, I did a really bad job. What I did a good job was of engaging on the left. What I did a bad job was of engaging on the right. And I've talked earlier in different videos about how valuable it is to have fast enough micro skills that you can do that. Well, I didn't. Luckily, I pulled it off here. Battle joins. He has Fusiliers up front. I send in the bazookas and trying to get my line into range. That doesn't work. He forms square as the threat of my cav, so I just try to swing my cav around so they can shoot at these guys. I think that'll be a pretty good advantage for me. He did the right thing of retreat his Fusiliers, and I just literally sat my little meat shield right in the middle there. And you notice I've got my 3 Janissaries loaded for bear, and I send those guys in to fight these 3 units in square. The advantage of my strategy is this guy brought 3 foot guards who are way on that side of the line. You can also see that he's immediately reacted by moving his Fusiliers into fire here. If I was smart, I would have moved these 3 line into a axis here. Instead, I just charged Cav in there. I don't even know how that went. And he's obviously bringing his Cav around. I have reacted by... I want to charge my heavy Cav into his light, so he retired behind his line. I'm really confident my Janissaries have already routed this unit, plus the fire from my line will route everything. And he starts reacting by pulling line units from his center. There is a massive Cav engagement going on here with my 1 unit of heavy Cav with 2 shooter Cav in backup. I'm going to slow down the action here. We've been in fast forward. At this point, I get my second 2 Janissary, or no, those are my shooter Cav. I'm trying to pull, there they are, I'm trying to pull my Janissaries into range here to get at these Fusiliers, and he's accepted that the axis of the battle is switched. He's moving all his remaining line over there. And I'm doing a really great job right now. My Janissaries have rolled through his first couple line units. They're onto these guys in the middle with backup of my shooters. They should be fine. I could have a problem here if this Cav engagement goes horribly against me. That doesn't necessarily seem to happen. I do finally manage to move my line units into position to engage the Fusiliers. I have a horse unit who's charging them. That should go well for me. My other 2 Janissaries are finally getting into action in the middle. But this huge Cav engagement back here kind of worried me. There goes my first guy's routing. And the question really, it's an arms race at this point. Who can get more firepower in this section of the battle? Because that's where it's happening. I do have somewhat of an advantage over here. My Janissaries are... Man, Janissaries are awesome. Playing with the Ottomans is so much fun. Because you don't do the standard, you know, ticky-tack, move around, blah, blah, blah. I want to point out something in the background. In the background are 2 of my opponent allies... Lancers getting involved. And notice as well, if you look at the minimap, that my ally, the Don, really isn't doing anything. And I could really... It would be really great if the Don started doing something. The Cav engagement in the middle kind of goes in my favor because I have more units that shoot bullets. But I have a problem. His line is sort of rearranged over here. And now there's a massive concentration of Cav back there. That's 4 Cav units, 2 of my direct opponent and 2 of his ally, or his partner. I am sort of winning here. If these 2 Janissaries can carry on their melee fight into here, then I should have a pretty good encirclement going. My solution is to charge my Cav directly into the center. He forms square, which is fine. I think I try to pull these guys out to give them a new target. I'm not really worried about naked Cav. I mean, these are just Lancers. I can form square, so I'm not worried about the Lancers. What I really want to do... And I get more Janissaries in action against these foot guard. What I really want to do is take out his infantry. If I can take out his infantry, and he hits probably what's a pretty good charge. He tries to charge from behind. Man, I'm good at Napoleon. I form a square here. That's what's going on. More Cav from my, ally opponent shows up, and I'm getting double teamed right now. This is not comfortable. I beat off this little Cav. That's not a huge deal. My line is kind of holding. I'm sorry, I'm probably panning the camera too much. Let me try to focus here. I'm feeling really good about my infantry in the middle. What I don't feel good about is the idea that I've now had to deal with 4 extra Cav units. And something really weird happens here in a moment. You turn around. That's 4 more fucking infantry units advancing on my... Oh, he gets a good... Oh, at this point he tried to, chase my general everywhere, so I just ran into the square. It wasn't a big deal, but... About this time, 4 fucking line units show up from the other side of the field, and I'm like, hey, Don, buddy, need some help here. Need some fucking help. Move. Because I'm fighting 2 on right now, and I'm doing pretty good. I feel like I can contain all these Cav. But if this continues, when these guys get into range, I'm going to have a fucking problem. Things continue to develop, however, loyal viewers. He actually gets in my body. I'm real lucky that my general didn't die right there. As the battle continues, I've cleared out the Prussian guy. All I really have to do are deal with these reinforcement French cav. I think I actually noticed this. Yeah, I noticed this and start to retreat and create an line axis here. I think it maybe... No. Yeah, actually, these are my... Hold on. These are my buddies' units. These are the Don's units, so... I probably exaggerated that. The Don was giving me... Yeah, he was giving me shooter cav support. Okay, so the last things I said over the last 2 minutes, totally strike that. The Don had my back. The Don wasn't engaging, but he sent shooter cav to help me out. The Don... Do you charge, dude? Don't charge them. Don't do it. Let me get in line. Anyway, so at this part of the battle, I might cut in the battle here. We've wiped out the Prussian. I had some help from the Don. Love the Don. Man, I love playing with the Don. And we start to go. These 3 French line units form a square because of the threat of the shooter cav, and they pull back. And all that happens from now is I start to walk my line guys over here. And I'm actually going to cut right now and pick you back up when we're more engaged there. So timeout. I'll pick you up in a moment. Okay, I'm going to pick the battle back up, and at this point, I've walked across the map to engage the side of my enemy. The Don has actually been really busy. He's engaged the opponent Asterix across his line. And Asterix had actually, if you look at the minimap, had moved a pretty good sizable force, like 3 cav and 2 infantry units up here, which didn't turn out very well. I mean, I don't really get that. I think if I was him, I would have collapsed. But am obviously able to encircle the small group of units that are engaging me. If I scroll up the map, the Don is 1 on the right side, and he's able to turn in, and he still has cav left, so he gets a couple pretty good charges in. Here he's got lights and line firing on squared infantry. It's going to be pretty easy for him. He kills the general. The French units start to rout pretty quick after that. I got some Janissaries left. I sent them in. It's not very exciting on my end of the battlefield. If I zoom around to what the Don's doing, is he's just trying to get everybody to be able to shoot at these people, which shouldn't take long. And kind of a weird thing happened. We kind of got a rage quit from Asterix at this point. He started saying, like, this was supposed to be a 2v2, like I wasn't supposed to, or I'm sorry, it's not fair, it's a 2v1 now. I'm like, well, I mean, if you hadn't spent the first half of the battle just sitting on your ass, you know, maybe I wouldn't have killed your teammate so quickly. I don't know what it's 2v2. What do you say? So anyway, I'm finishing up smoking some grenadiers apparently and Volt, and the Don's gonna do his thing. I'm gonna kick into fast forward, and that sort of was the battle. So in my instance, I got a little better at working with the Ottomans. Using a meat shield really helped, I think. I would like to say good game to everyone who played. Snowstorm and Asterix on the other side of the field, and thedonpart2, who had my back, and his shooter cav really came in handy. I think at this point I actually ran out of bullets, so I just melee charged these Young Guard. Whatever. So good game to everybody, and we actually showed some teamwork there. I could use support when I needed it. And that is the battle. I'm going to sign off now. This is jmartin. Check us out at twreplays.com.